What's up, everybody? This is Jeff Coventry, head coach at Immaculata, with another OHSF All-Decade team member. He's a running back, and I'll let him do his own introduction. Take it away.
Hey guys, it's Jackson Bennett. Right now, number 29 with the Hamilton Tigercats, and Ottawa native. And I'm just blessed to be on this thing with you guys and the All-Decade team, and be nominated and acknowledged about my time in Ottawa. So it's a blessing. So thank you for having me.
Yeah. Can you mention the years that you played, and as well as the high school that you attended there, Jackson?
Yeah. So to go way back, my family is actually in the military, so we used to move around a lot. So I got here back in grade 5. So I spent, almost right now? I want to say 13, 14 years now I've been out in Ottawa. So started off, Maple Ridge in elementary school. Went from there and then took time, played touch football, tried to get my hands, on every kind of sport that I could. Football wasn't the main focus back then, you know what I mean? It was, just having fun and seeing what I like, and, using my God-given abilities to, just have fun and play. So my dad got me into sports quite early. Like I said, I played touch football, basketball, volleyball. Volleyball was more in a high school, but, you get to play volleyball in elementary school sometimes in gym class and whatnot. But yeah, I did elementary school, and then went off to Sir Wilfrid Laurier, New Orleans. Did my 4 years there, had a great time. There were some amazing people that came out of that program, and some friends for life that came out of that school as well. So it was a great school to be in, and I still talk to a lot of people from there. So very blessed. I'd say, grade 9 was my first kind of big opportunity in the football scene. I used to be playing Panthers way back then, so I was playing for the Cumberland Panthers.
You mentioned to us about your time with the Panthers, and some coaches and maybe some players that you grew up with, and guys that influenced you there, and people that influenced you there.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I was playing Panthers, I started Mosquito, so that was second year Mosquito. I was pretty young, and that's when I started playing running back. That was my first position. The first thing I played was running back, and I loved it a lot. But at the time, I was playing soccer as well. So I was kind of going in between the soccer and the football at the same time. So I never got into the varsity side of Panthers. So I just stayed on the CAFA kind of house league football until, I got to high school and I got to university. But the Cumberland Panthers was a great organization. And I went back a few times, just to help out and do some stuff. And they actually put me up on the Hall of Fame for the Cumberland Panthers, which is really nice. That they did for me. So, but a lot of coaches from there, a lot of teammates I played with, like Curly, Brandon, Noah, Mitchell, and the list can go on forever. I don't want to be out here forever saying everybody's name, but you know who you are. So, and people that, just helped me get to the next level where I am today, and that kind of laid the foundation for my next steps, which included high school. And then,
that's a great segue into the high school scene. You burst onto the scene there as a grade 10, and really enjoyed pretty much some immediate success as an individual. Maybe later on as a team, but it all came together in the end. And I would love to hear more about your time during Ottawa high school football. Talk to me through the years. From grade 10 to 12. What were the ups and downs, the positives, some people that influenced you, the coaching staff? What was going on at Sir Will?
Sir Will to me was a big family. Everybody was close, and everybody, loved each other. And even though, the first years playing football there weren't the best. I mean, they were fun for me personally, but in terms of our record wasn't the best starting out. But that's okay. You know what I mean? That happens sometimes, and we weren't the best team, but it was cool to see over the years, you go from, I think we won one game. I think it was grade 9 or 10. We won one game out of 8. And you go from going 1-7 to, winning the championship against the, town rivals. So it was kind of it was a very cool story growing up at Sirwell with the football team. You know, Coach Kinconan, Varden, Coach Campbell, you know, all those guys, Coach Smith, you know, taught us a lot about football and taught us how to be great kids in on and off the field as well. So yeah, grade 10, you know, didn't have a good year. Then we went to grade 11, you know, we bumped it up, but we weren't in the first tier. We were in tier 2, I believe. So we won the tier 2 championship against Franco Cite. That was a sweet game. You know, we played on the Nepean Sportsplex Minto Field, I think it was
The old
called.
turf that everyone remembers, right? Yeah. We're lucky now. I think they changed it up, but back then you did not want to fall on that turf.
Oh, did they change the turf?
I think it's been changed, yeah, recently.
Okay. Yeah, that's a
but,
good.
talk to us about the turf and how that game went for you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much falling on like sandpaper, that thing. So you try your best to stay on your feet, and there was no cleats. I mean, you could wear cleats, but it was, you know, wearing shoes was a little better because it was that kind of hard. But it's funny to look back on that stuff and kind of laugh about it and stuff and think about it. So it's pretty cool thinking about it. But yeah, grade 11, we won that championship with you know, a bunch of great guys. I was actually looking back on my Facebook photos the other day and saw everybody in the championship photo. So that was great. And then grade 12 was probably the best year out of all the high school years. You know, it took what we learned from, you know, grade 10 and 11, brought it to the team and kind of stepped up as a leader in the locker room and for everybody, and try to lead by example was my main thing. But you know, you can't do anything without the people around you, and it was a great environment. And even though, you know, sometimes things don't go your way, you know, we tried our best to put things in motion, put things forward, and keep on going. So, you know, we made it all the way to OHSA, which was great, and we could have won that game, the OHSA game, but you know, it just happens sometimes. You know, you do your best, and everybody around you does your best, and it just doesn't come out on top. But that's okay. I still enjoyed the grade 12 year quite a bit. You know, again, play with the same guys I played with Cumberland. You know, guys you probably know from the high school scene, like Brandon Smith, Curly Gittins, Noah Halfkenny, Mitchell Newman, Stefan Kokkonen, Deepak. But grade 12, those guys were gone out of there at that time. So those guys would have been grade 11, Deepak and Stefan.
Part of your growth process, however, though, you see those seniors when you're in grade 11. You know, you guys win that tier 2 championship, and it kind of gives you the idea that, you know, this is something that could happen. We could take it to the next level, right? You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you know, Stefan stayed back a year, so we were able to still have him as quarterback, and kind of growing with, you know, your quarterback and, you know, your receivers and everybody and your whole team, you know, doing a great job, and as a whole is something that's pretty cool. And being able to be in the same room and playing football with the same people, going to class with the same people, really helped us, you know, beat St. Pete's in the championship and get to the OHSA and you know, do our best in the OHSA. So it was a great growing experience, and you know, those guys are guys who I still talk to today and still love. So
no small feat there, and absolutely, you know, knocking off St. Pete's is no joke, especially from the East. And you know, fortunately for you, I mean, your time didn't end just at Sirwell. It's gone further, and of course, the OHSA championship is, you know, it's not a blemish on your record at all. As a person, it's getting to OHSA is the hardest part, and that's a beautiful thing. But you know, going on, you can take those things that you learned in high school and apply them to the recruiting process and how you ended up in university football. Would love to hear more about that story. And, you know, how can student athletes, you know, look to kind of emulate your process as you went through to Ottawa U and beyond?
So how my process worked was in grade 11, I started to talk to some teams, you know, here and there. The main team was Ottawa U because it was actually Brandon Galanders from Sirwell. We kind of took the same path. It was kind of funny because, you know, he went to Sirwell, played running back. Then he went to Ottawa U, played running back. So I knew Ottawa U from kind of through him, and Ottawa U liked, you know, Sirwell, and, you know, was at the practices sometimes. So, but in grade 12, that's kind of when things ramped up a bit, and I was starting to talk to more teams. So my main thing was, you know, just trying to, you know, lead by example and do the little things right, and because I knew the next level was going to be, a lot harder than what it is now. And I realized that obviously my first year, balancing school and football, it's not all about, on the field too. You got to take care of yourself off the field. So getting in the classroom, everything was very important my first year. But in terms of high school perspective, grade 12 was like we said before, the process and, the great year we had kind of set me up for a lot of offers in grade 12. It was actually right after the office game. We weren't feeling too hot. We just lost. And, there's about 8 schools kind of coming up and giving their business cards to you. So it was pretty cool. I was really like happy to hear from all these schools and seeing everybody kind of interested in me. So that was a lot of fun. Even though we lost, it kind of, was cool to hear from these people. And obviously my choice at the end was AutoU. That was mainly because, like you and I, we spent time in that King football doing the lunch training. And during high school, that was the thing, you finish school, you got to get on the bus real quick, 136, get down to the mall, and then jump on the 95 all the way to AutoU so we can go train in the pit with Joey for King. So that was the main reason why I joined, was because I already knew a lot of the guys on the university team, and I kind of grew up with them. I won't say grew up with them, but trained with them a lot beforehand. So it was kind of just a nice, easy, coast into kind of, the culture there. So I already knew the culture because we were doing it in the pit at AutoU. So, and obviously staying at home was a financial decision as well. You save a lot of money staying at home and taking the bus and everything. So that was another factor in my decision going to AutoU. But yeah.
It's a beautiful pathway, and it just shows you that it's sometimes being at home is the best option, right? We've spoke to a couple other guys on this pod and on these webisode Zoom calls, and everyone has their different stories and their different pathways, and it's great to see somebody chose to stay home for some pretty valid reasons, right? And again, going further to that, you were very successful at U Ottawa as well, and I would love to hear about your time there. Although you did end up in a different position. Correct? Yeah.
I did, yes. So like we already talked about before, high school was kind of a mainly running back position, and I played a little bit of DB as well. So it's kind of like both sides of the ball. But my first year at AutoU, training camp hits and you're excited, everything's going on. You're in the dorms with another teammate you never met before, and things are being like excited. I'm excited for this stuff, and get to camp and start doing running back drills and all this stuff, getting ready to play running back, because that's the position I thought I'd see myself in, and the position I thought I'd shine the most at. But things happen, and you got to be on your toes and ready to adapt to any kind of changes. So in training camp, coach came up to me and said, "Hey Jackson, we need some help on defense, and we think we can do a good job on defense." And I said, "Hey, it was an opportunity to play, because I'm a rookie. I don't have no veteran status on the field. I can't really choose where I play, and safety was my first, or I should say DB, because I played a few positions at AutoU.
Kind of splitting time between like Sam, half, and safety, kind of in that triangle, right? I do remember you kind of playing all over the place there.
Exactly.
But, yeah, sorry, keep going. Go for it.
But I loved it. I loved every second I played on defense, and it was, another opportunity to show, physicality, using your head. Even if you didn't able to run the ball as much, but doing all these other things, just keeping your leverage. And I learned so much on the defensive side of the ball. Not to say I wouldn't have learned it as much on offense as well, but it's good to get in the perspective on the fields in terms of football, because if you know how your opponent plays, and you're that much one step closer to being at an advantage. But yeah, I should say, so I started at field half. That was kind of the first position they put me in. And then I moved over to, played a few games. I should say even before that, first game was against Queens on the grass field. They have a really nice field now, but it used to be grass, as you know. And I only played special teams that game, only special teams, but I was a backup field half that game. So yeah, I had a good game that game, and then the next game I was able to play field half, get in the game, and then played a few games at field half, then moved to safety a little way through the year. So at that point, this was a big step up for me. Safety is kind of like the quarterback of the defense, and you gotta talk a lot. You gotta call the play, gotta call the audible. You gotta call the formation, and that's kind of you. You gotta speak up a lot. And for me, before I was a very conservative kind of guy, kind of shy, just kind of laughed and did my thing. But now I'm playing safety. You gotta dig deep and let be assertive with what you say and be convincing and be that leader role for your team. So that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed safety quite a bit and made some plays. And then my second year came around, and I was still at safety at that point. And I got hurt in the preseason game against Montreal, and then I was out for the whole year. And then I came back in my third year, and I played a whole completely other position. And that was Sam linebacker. So a kind of DB linebacker kind of position, and I think that was a lot of fun. Sam was a lot of fun. So you get the blitz a lot, jump back into coverage, cover number 3 usually, all that kind of stuff. So Sam was a lot of fun. And then my final year, my 4th year, my draft year, I was playing boundary half. So lining up against number 2 with their waggle and everything. So that was kind of the year I was able to work on my man coverage the most. And I knew I had to work on my man coverage for the next level because, that's where I wanted to go. I've always kind of wanted to do the best I can at football and take it as far as I can, like ever. So I knew I needed to work on man coverage because that's what they do a lot at the next level. So yeah, that was my last year, and that was kind of, getting to the draft stuff.
That's honestly, it's a great lesson to show student athletes to be malleable, be flexible, right? And be ready to kind of jump in at any position that the coach needs, and whether it's high school or university. Because as you just showed us, you went from running back to safety to Sam to halfback in the span of 4 or 5 years. That's no joke, right? You got to be able to soak it all in and play where coaches need you to be. That being said, of course, you found a home in the pro ranks, and you were fortunate enough to get drafted. If you could leave student athletes, with one kind of piece of advice about that pathway to the pros and, wanting to make it professional, as most of us do dream of, what's something you could give back and talk about your time, getting to the process of the draft, getting drafted, and then playing in the CFL?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it was a great process, in my opinion. I had a lot of fun doing everything that I did, but it was very important that, obviously work hard. You hear that all the time, but it's just the facts. You got to work hard. You got to put the time in, and that's just how it is. But for me personally, and I hear more about it now, and I see a lot of it now, is it may not just be the football and everything, but it's also the people around you. You got to talk to people. Got to be able to be a people's person. That's the thing. Our coach this year was kind of talking about a lot, and it kind of relates to everything, even not football. Your everyday job and everything. So, being a people's person is just so important because you're playing with people on the field. You got to be able to link with them. You got to be able to connect with them, understand how they're feeling, how they want to play. They like to be, a little bit more outside on leverages and stuff. So I'm going to make sure, I'm helping this way and everything. And football is a team sport. You can't do it by yourself, and you need everybody around you. You need everybody on the sideline. You need all the coaches. You need the therapy staff. You need the fans. You need everything. So, just going through the process of getting to the draft, I made sure to work with everybody I could, talk to everybody I could, and, make good relationships with everybody, because a lot of it comes down to, who you're talking to the most. Are they talking about you a lot? If you're somebody that's, really good, obviously, like, you'll get attention and stuff. But, if you're really good and you're getting, these great connections, you're meeting people, you're going out of your way to talk to people, that's just going to help you a little bit more. And at the end of the day, it's, comes down to the finite details, and that's super important. you know, in the gym, one of my things is, um, you know, we're doing reps or whatever, you know, you got 3 sets of 8, you know, make sure to do, you know, 3 sets of 9 just to be, you know, a little extra, or 3 sets of 10 or 11, 12, you know, on a good day. But it's just repetitive, consistent, finite details that, you know, will separate you from, you know, the average group. And it's important to see everything as a whole and just, you know, put your head down and get rid of your distractions and just go forward. So my 4th year at University of Ottawa was, you know, I think my best year, and I really wanted to make it so, and that's what I focused on, and I'm thankful for everybody around me and everybody that helped me to get there. So um, yeah, blessing to be picked up by the Tigercats now, and it's a great organization. I love everybody there, and they do so well for me, and everybody else around them. They love each other, and they love everybody. So it's a great family aspect there. But yeah.
Your journey went full circle there. You know, you went offense in Sir Will, defense during your time at Ottawa U, and you started on defense again with the Hamilton Tigercats. But what ended up happening coming back full circle? Can you tell us a little bit again about being a very malleable player? What happened there?
Absolutely. I feel like my biggest trait coming into the draft, I think, was my versatility and be able to play multiple positions. So, you know, going into the draft, I was a DB, and it was pretty cool. I had a lot of fun, actually. I look back at it now and watch some videos on it and, you know, kind of reminisce. But at the combine, I came in as a DB, but I was also making sure to you know, to do SAM drills as well as defensive back drills. So I was doing linebacker and kind of the perimeter defenders. So I was able to kind of show my versatility off, and it was a long combine because, you know, you do an hour of one-on-ones, drills, blah, blah, blah for linebackers. And then you say, okay, time to do DBs. And you do it all again, one-on-ones, drills as a DB. So I just really wanted to, you know, set an impression for everybody out there and everybody looking at me, and wanted to show them that, you know, I can play anywhere and be, you know, a very significant role on the field, whether that be offense, defense, special teams, whatever. I just wanted to, you know, get a spot on the team and make sure I solidify it. So I got to camp as a Sam linebacker. I was back up the whole year. I got to start in the last game of the season, and I got in for a few plays in the playoff game against BC. But it's just a whole nother level at the pro level. I think it's amazing to be in that kind of high detailed, very high performance environment with everybody around you is just trying to, you know, get a job and stay and do their best and everything. So it's amazing to be a part of. But yes, did Sam, and then this past year, you know, it was funny. I was, you know, doing Sam drills, or I was doing defensive back drills all winter, I should say. And then, you know, a few weeks before camp starts in 2019, they go, hey, how do you think of running back? And I go, oh, running back. I mean, I used to play running back, and I think that's kind of the position I fell in love with at first. You know, back in second year Mosquito, I played running back all the way up until university, and man, I loved it. So absolutely, if it means more time for me on the field as well, if that's a role that you guys need filled up, then that's absolutely something that I would do. So I jumped into running back and had a lot of fun. We had a great running back room last year, all the way to the Grey Cup, and I could say a lot about the guys there, but it's just the environment that I was in, and it's just amazing to be a part of that kind of culture and to go to the highest stage and at that level. So, and that was a Grey Cup, and that was so much fun, and you know, being a running back in that room, you know, things didn't go what they had planned to. You know, guys got hurt and things, and that was an opportunity for me to step in, which was awesome. Obviously, you never want to see your guys hurt at all or anybody hurt, but you know, that was like I said, an opportunity for me to jump in and get some time in. So I was grateful for that. And so yeah, I was able to play, you know, I think my biggest game was the Labor Day game this past year, and I scored my first touchdown. and was able to be a part of that big culture on Labor Day, with all those fans in the stands. So I think I won't forget that for the rest of my life. So now, yeah, full-time running back now, and trying to get better every day.
It's funny how things come full circle sometimes, right? And as, of course, making this OHSF All-Decade team, first off, congratulations as a running back, but also being now again, born again running back, I guess is the best way to put it, and I'm glad you found out that that's the position, you've always wanted to play and fell in love with, and you're embracing that role. But also want to congratulate you for your past successes as well. And that's why we have you on this call, this Zoom, because you are a unanimous decision to be an impact player for the Ottawa High School football scene. And we just want to congratulate you and say thank you, for all the time you've put in for Ottawa High School football and beyond. So,
no, I appreciate it a lot. It means a lot.
Well, without further ado, this was Jackson Bennett, running back on this OHSF All-Decade team. And thanks again for stopping by and having this conversation with us. We really appreciate it.
Anytime, man.
All the best.